team advisor, Helmut Marko, is just out in the media blasting him at every opportunity he gets. He's across a room and he hears someone mention Checo and he's just yelling like, he sucks, we hate him. Welcome back to Push Push. I'm Danielle Davis.
I'm Shannon Kessler.
We are your girlfriend's guide to Formula One racing, and we are back after a exciting weekend.
Yes, what a race. Just all kinds of ups and downs going on in Spa.
Well, Spa is I'm not going to say it's my favorite, but it's my favorite.
It's always been your favorite.
It is my favorite.
Yeah.
It didn't rain as much in Spa this year, which was, really sad, but there was so much other drama. We didn't even need rain.
We didn't need a single drop. We got rain in qualies, and it was weird. I did think it was very odd. We woke up Sunday morning, and it was beautiful. Beautiful. So sunny. Nobody needed to be under their little canopy umbrella thingies that they were stuck in all weekend. And I'm like, we're not going to get any rain on race day in Spa.
And we didn't even get any of the really fun garage mechanic rain content on social media that we usually get at Spa. That was a thing of the past. And also I can't start the episode without mentioning this. We will discuss it in more detail later in the news and notes where it belongs, but we can't even begin to talk about this race until we can at least acknowledge that, thank the Lord, thank Father, Son, Holy Spirit, that Carlos Sainz has made a decision. We can discuss that decision later, but I just need to let everyone know that weight has finally been lifted off of our shoulders.
Thank you.
Thank you, Carlos.
I do feel like you might have been the one to really push him over the edge. Like, Carlos, it's time. It's time to make a decision.
It's his time.
You can't be going summer break unclear about what you're going to do. Just make a decision. And
thankfully, he did not leave us waiting so long. So we will discuss Carlos Sainz's move to Williams, which was not entirely unexpected, after we recap this race.
Sounds good.
So let's talk Spa.
Yes.
Man, it seemed like it was all sunny and then
all ups, never downs until
the ultimate down, the hammer drop. Honestly, it was hammer time, but the hammer did not come from Lewis Hamilton.
It did not.
The rule book.
The race itself wasn't the most exciting.
I thought it was so good. What?
It was good. We did have battles. We did have some racing. I just felt like I was expecting a little bit more from Spa. And again, it's someone who does not like rain on race day. I think I was just a little bit let down that I wasn't getting any drama from the track. Spa,
wait, what? I am blown away by this. I thought this race was wildly exciting from start to finish.
Okay, well, share with the group.
I don't know if it's because I was really locked in on it, because don't do this at home, kids. But I'm coming to you live from the wild and wonderful West Virginia, Morgantown, West Virginia, and I say that because I watched the race while driving. On early Sunday morning. Do not recommend doing that. I mean, I have it, I wasn't watching it the whole time. I was, it was in the background through the car ride. But I thought it was wildly compelling. I don't know if it's maybe because I was locked in, maybe because I was, also on a journey. But I thought the race was I thought this was the peak strategic race. This was strategy and tire management and at its finest. And I feel like we haven't had a race where it's just been full strategery. I don't feel like it was exciting. It was all about the mental game, not there was racing on the track, but
yeah, I think I wanted to see more wheel-to-wheel combat. I wanted to see more racing between cars, not strategizing how we were going to beat people, because this really was everybody was trying to undercut everybody on this track, which I was like, okay, I get it. Are you going to do a 1-stepper? Is it a 2-stepper? Like some people were like, maybe I'll go for 3. Like, what is it? The hards? Be like, we don't know. Like this is it's a different vibe here at Spa when there's no rain. So I think a lot of people were a little like, what are we going to do? But it was very interesting to see how the teams, or how teammates were trying to race each other this entire.
Yeah, I thought it was, I really enjoyed this race. I think this was my favorite race of the season. I mean, again, I love Spa. But I thought this race was awesome. I also love the names of all the corners in this race. And I like to listen to Crofty say them all. So maybe I was just like lulled into that. But I thought this race was so interesting. I thought it was like Max starting from 10 places back on the grid. So were we going to watch, like last year where Max just zips to the very front, which we didn't see. I mean, he did zip to the front, but not to the very front of the pack. I thought like that was super interesting. I mean, so happy that Charles Leclerc started at the front. He didn't finish that way, but whatever. It's fine. I think he knew that was going to be the case too. He is the king of qualies. But I just thought it was so interesting, like where the McLaren's going to get to the top. Was it going to be the Mercedes? Like who was going to catch who? I loved it. There's a lot of passing. There's a lot of there wasn't so much wheel to wheel racing because Spa does have nice corners that allow for overtaking. So I don't know. I give this race an 8 out of 10.
Okay. Well, good. I'm glad that you loved it. I mean, I don't know. I think I was just expecting, I wanted more wheel-to-wheel combat, but I did appreciate the strategy behind, the tire management and how everybody really worked together to bring their team home. Hell, until good old Merc decide.
Let's talk about George Russell calling an audible too. Also, that was like the team radios were super compelling because they were like, here's what we're thinking about doing. Like, which strategy we were getting a lot of like, which are you going with, A, B, or C? Yeah. I feel like we heard that from McLaren a couple times. Lewis had his issues where he was kind of mad with the team with their tire management strategy. Obviously ended up working out for him. George calling an audible and being like, no, we ride at dawn to the end.
we can get these tires. And you're like, okay.
Which I thought that he was like, we were going to have like a full tire meltdown by the end. So that also was super compelling. Like there's 10 laps left. Is he going to make it? Like, Yeah.
That is true. I mean, it did get a little squirrely at the end. And I really thought like the Hamilton Russell chase, and sometimes this happens where Hamilton like looks like he's going to take somebody down. And if he had 2 more laps, he definitely would. I thought for sure he was going to be, tracking George to take him down. But I was like, I don't know if he can. I don't know. And I was getting real nervous that Piastri was going to try to.
Oh, for sure.
I was like, oh my, he only needed another lap too. And
I was to say,
crush it.
Three more laps and the podium would have been totally different.
Absolutely.
3 more laps and it would have been like Piastri, maybe Lewis, Max, or like, because Max was grinding too. Like he was right on the heels of Charles Leclerc. Like there was like the front 3-pack and the second 3-pack, and that would have been a whole jumble.
Yeah.
From there, George would have finished 5th, like they predicted, because they were predicting a 5th place finish whether he pitted or stayed on those tires. And I think like 2 more laps, and that's where he would have probably ended up.
I agree. I definitely agree with that. But that's not what we got.
No, that's not what we got.
That's not what we got. We got George finishing in 1st. We got Lewis coming in 2nd. We got Piastri in 3rd. And, I didn't hate it. I was like, wow, a Merc 1-2. Go, George. Way to get in there. He didn't say anything really stupid on the radio, which, tends to do when he gets excited, and I get that, but he kept it together, and I was like, oh,
he didn't keep it together. He was so excited.
He was excited, but he didn't give us a yabba dabba do.
Oh no, I know. I wish he had. It would have been a perfect. I mean, he was so proud of himself. Like he was patting himself on the back for his strategy. He was like saying it was for the team, but he was so proud of himself. He was so jubilant. He could not have been happier. So when the rule book just beat him down, I feel broken for him.
Oh, and I'm not the biggest George Russell fan, but you
do love a rule book.
I love a rule book. Article 4.1 really stuck it to George this time. I was like, oh God, this isn't good. But my heart did break for him because he really did. I thought he deserved that win. I honestly
did. He 100% deserved it.
And he just got dicked over by Mercedes this weekend, and I feel bad for him about that.
Did you read about or see anything online about one of the reasons why they think this happened? About how at the end of the race, you're usually supposed to go around the track and get more of the tire grit like onto your tire so that it's heavier. And because of where the placement is of the pit lane in Spa being so close to the end.
There's no cool down.
The finish line. There's no like cool down. And so he didn't have enough time to get like the grit on his tire to make it weigh more. Yeah. That is also like crazy. It could have only happened here.
Exactly. And that's what this is where this sport, you think it can be cut and dry, and then you're like, just kidding. You can lose a race because your car is underweight by 1.5 kilograms or some baloney.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
It's wild.
You really kidding me? Like, it is insane to me that is even a thing. You're like,
yeah, that's like where you learn new stuff all the time. I mean, we've been like very actively watching, learning, participating in the sport for what, like 4 years now, 3-4 years. And when I originally saw that, I was like, what a huge mistake by the Mercedes, like the garage, like how could this happen? And then when I saw that explanation about how they're just supposed to pick up more stuff on their tires to make the car weigh more at the end, I was like, wait, what? Like, that's one of those things that I would have never expected that also to be the solution to this problem. Not
at all. I don't think we've ever encountered that in watching this sport.
No.
They certainly never talked about that on Netflix, I'll tell you that. Like,
no. And I think that I saw maybe I was like looking through my news and notes, but somewhere it was like, this has never, I don't think I chose to talk about it because we're going to talk about it, ad nauseum, but that this is never, like, it's happened, but it's like never happened in recent times. Like,
right.
It's a total anomaly. Oh. Man, and I mean, also going into your summer break, just a buzzkill.
Oh gosh, that poor guy. I mean, listen, poor George. I'm sorry, friend. I'm really sorry. I really thought you deserved that. I also thought it felt a little icky to me that Toto wasn't at the celebration. Like, he's FaceTiming Susie from the garage, and I'm like, what? Why?
Also, did you notice when they cut to him after George won, he like when Lewis was doing Lewis shit, like back in the day, like he was giving big fist pumps. Yeah. He was giving like flexing on the hose. He was high-fiving. Like, he was just kind of sat there and did his like evil Grinch smirk. It wasn't even, I would not call it a smile. It was a smirk. Mm-hmm. And I was like, you just finished 1-2 for the first time in forever. Like, why are you not happier?
I thought the same thing, Danielle. I was very perplexed, and it was just odd to me. Like, why not just be there to congratulate? And George is his boy. Like, that is his goat dog. Love this kid. And he's just sitting in the garage.
Also, George is desperate for Toto's love and affection.
Needs him to be the dad that he doesn't have, I guess. I don't know. Like, it's
I don't know the dynamics, but I do know that George, it feels like he really wants Toto's love and approval. Yes. So why was he not, there in the high five line?
I don't know. I don't know. Like, was Toto
Did his tummy hurt?
Like, I kind of
did he know
he could have this race? And
yeah.
Like, I don't know.
Or
like,
was he mad that like George called his own audible and like kind of went against what the team plans were, and then like kind of trumped him because he worked out?
Yeah, I don't know. He's like, I'm the captain now, so listen to me.
Yeah,
for George. I don't know. I really
I did think it was weird, and they showed that cut to Toto a couple times. Like, I feel like they showed the replay of it, and it was just so. It was kind of like as if he'd come in fourth place.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, it really was. It didn't feel like he was very happy about a 1-2 Merc.
A 1-2.
He had a 1-2 Merc.
No, been like 3 years or something with it.
Yeah. Like, huh. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was super strange. And especially because George is the future.
Yeah.
Like, George is the boy. He's the chosen one. He's the eldest boy now. Like,
this is it.
Like, he's the one you picked. So why are you not? And Lewis calls his shot all the time. Not as much lately, but like we've seen historically Lewis be like, this is what I want to do. Sometimes he meanders to the team's orders, but a lot of times they're like, what do you think, Lewis? And he's like, these are my thoughts. This is what I want to do.
Yeah. I don't know.
I'm glad you brought that up.
Mm-hmm. I was like, I don't love this.
Also, he looked kind of sloppy FaceTiming her too. Like, he was kind of sprawled out. It was giving weird vibes.
It was weird. The whole thing was just off.
Did you take like a muscle relaxer before or something and just was kind of like not with it? I don't know. It felt strange.
It did feel strange. I felt the whole time I'm watching, I'm like, I don't love this. And I love Toto. Like, Toto is my boy.
Yeah.
And I was like, no.
Yeah, I thought it was strange too. Also, I mean, Lewis was kind of mad. I mean, for like a team that finished 1-2, there was a lot of like bad vibes post race for them.
Because I mean, I obviously didn't listen to like, the Sky Sports, like the I didn't have the
interviews
up, so like I didn't get all of the radio that was going on. But what radio did we miss from Merc?
Yeah,
like, what did we miss? Because they were not all on the same page, and they agreed. Lewis was pissed when he got out of that car. I mean, he congratulated George, but it was like, this is fucking bullshit, and you know it, and we were all like, same, agreed, but also congrats George.
Yeah,
but it just fell off. Like, the whole Merc garage fell off this race.
Yeah, and once again we got like a awkward post the awkward cool down room. Yeah. Just so quiet. Like, they left the camera on so long without anyone from Sky Sports talking. I think they kept anticipating someone was going to say something, and they were just not talking.
No, I mean, but here's also okay.
But I don't think George, like, I don't think there's any. I don't say that because I think there's any animosity between Lewis Hamilton and Oscar Piastri. And because it was when they were just in there together, I think they were just legitimately cooling down. But I was like, hey guys, could you guys talk over this? Because you're making us all uncomfy just watching them, towel down and ignore each other.
Exactly. And I love Oscar, but like, he's not going to be the one that gives you the commentary on the race. Like, that's not his lane. That's not like, he's a quiet king that comes later, but like, not like this. Like, this is not. Or
he's like you say something and I give a little funny, like in
he's
aside.
Not comedian.
No, he's not leading the convo. He's also so young. Like, he's not, and I think he's exceptionally like well media trained, but he's not as comfortable, obviously, as the rest of them are.
Yeah. Or
like as just DJF as Max is.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay, speaking of DGAFing, oh man, they do not care about Checo. I mean, apparently they do because they're going to keep him, and we'll talk about that. But God, Checo sucks.
Yeah, like, it's bad. Like,
he started in second place in a Red Bull.
Like, they were like, "This is your chance. This is your chance to do something great. What are you going to do?" And he's like,
come in 7th or whatever, 8th, wherever he finished. And there's like, they all talked about how if you can get past like that, that there's a specific, the second turn or whatever is the easiest one to pass. And that usually if you start in first, you're not going to finish the lap in first. And like this wasn't Charles's best race, but I don't think the Ferrari, I think knew their car was not, cut out for the podium maybe on this one, or they weren't going for, I don't think, first place on this, but he was totally fine. Like it ended up being like a strategy timing, just falling behind for the longevity of the race for Ferrari. It wasn't because the Red Bull, like Checo didn't Checo him.
Wasn't creating this like obstacle of nobody can get past me type mentality. It's just, he wasn't driving the car. Like it was embarrassing. It's like, what is happening over there? And
if Max had been started against Charles, he would have taken him in 2 seconds. And fall on the sword for Charles, but he would have surrendered the position probably pretty quickly.
Agreed. I agree with you on this. And I do think it's like, what? I don't know. Like, what are they doing over there? Like, why are they trying to?
But I don't even know if is it him? Because like he drove kind of like shit.
I don't know.
So like now I'm kind of, I don't know. I'm like, is it the car or is he bad? Like what's happening?
I don't know.
Because I don't think he drove particularly well.
He hasn't driven well all season.
No. Maybe the first few races, maybe the first 3 races.
Maybe.
The first 3 races, I think he did, pretty well. Red Bull asserted its dominance early. We've all forgotten about it because it was so long ago.
Yes.
But yeah, I don't know I don't understand it.
I don't either.
Helmut Marko doesn't either, obviously.
No, I don't either. I mean, I think this has to just be like a legal like contract. But also, okay, we're getting bunchy over here. But like, if they were going to get rid of Checo, who are they going to put in his place? I mean,
Daniel Ricciardo. That was the whole thing.
Lawson,
did you see all that?
We've seen all these like conversations and whatnot, but like, is that I don't think that's the right replacement either. So
no. So I think that's what they all decided because I have some news and notes on it. They have confirmed that if we can just jump into that. Perez to remain with Red Bull after crunch talks in a Monday meeting, which we knew that there was this Monday meeting happening yesterday. In a Monday meeting, Red Bull has decided against replacing Sergio Perez during the summer break. He will remain Max Verstappen's Formula One teammate after the summer break. Autosport understands. The Mexicans' Red Bull future was one of the topics discussed on Monday in a meeting of the team's management, including team principal Christian Horner and advisor Helmut Marko, a.k.a. the Puppet Master. While there has been no official outcome of its team meeting, Autosport understands Horner has addressed the team's staff at the Milton Keynes factory, saying Perez will be in the car when the 2024 season resumes with the Dutch Grand Prix at the end of August. So they have essentially said he's staying in the car and that Daniel Ricciardo's staying in the RB. There was those pictures of Horner and Ricciardo looking happy.
All chummy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, not anymore.
But alas.
Yeah. Oh.
So, I mean, they're going to keep him. I mean, much to, I'm sure, Helmut Marko's dismay.
Yeah. Wow.
He had some burns on him, too. Like, I mean, some of the things he said, I'm going to pull it up to find that one. Oh, did it already disappear from our stories? But, like, he basically was like, he sucks, and I hate him.
Well, there's got to be the money in the contract that keeps him here. Like it's the only explanation because it's not his driving. It's not his ability to create magic in this Red Bull. I mean, he's costed millions of dollars at this point because of the crashes and because of like are they losing money and lack of sponsorship? Or I don't know. Like
I don't understand it.
How he's getting to stay. Especially with the amount or like the lack of support that it seems that he has. It's not that there's a lack. It seems there's a lack of support. I mean, team advisor Helmut Marko is just out in the media blasting him
at every opportunity he gets. He's across a room and he hears someone mention Checo and he's just yelling like, he sucks, we hate him. I mean, like the man does not miss an opportunity to blast him.
Agreed. I mean,
just like it makes me feel bad, and I have no sort of like allegiance to Checo, and they just are like just berating him.
Do you think he's going to get a seat next year anywhere?
I don't know. Well, it doesn't. I don't know. His contract is with Red Bull through next year, but obviously they're not going to.
Yeah,
I mean that, right?
But I don't foresee him getting a seat 25.
I don't either. I mean, Christian Horner's out here saying the priority is to support Checo, but like, is it?
It doesn't feel that way. It feels the opposite of that.
Like, I mean, and he's out here saying like, it's not like I've forgotten how to drive, but Helmut Marko's like, but maybe you have. Maybe you have. Like, I don't know. It's so bizarre. Also, I just came across this photo of George crying after he's disqualified, and I am so sad.
So sad. It's so sad.
So sad. Sorry, George. Oof.
Well, let's wrap up this GP because we had George come in first, Lewis second, and then Piastri third, and then obviously George gets his victory taken away. And then that promotes Lewis to first, Piastri to second.
And
Leclerc.
Sweet Charles Leclerc to third. We'll take it. We'll take the points anyway. We can get them, guys. We'll take them.
Okay, so I had this question, and then it was funny because Mercedes like completely answered it for me in their, the way that they only can. I was like, does Lewis have to give, or does George have to give Lewis the first place
trophy? Yeah, 100%.
And then I was like, well, who has does Lewis have to go and give Oscar?
Yeah, I mean, I think that some Mercedes minion takes it.
Well, yes, because the admin being the admin of admins that Merc is, there's a video of him taking the trophy out the the Merc garage to the motorhome of McLaren, and then there's somebody at McLaren that needs him to take the second place trophy, and I was like, oh, okay, so that's how they get the trophy.
Oh my god, it should have been a 3-parter, and they should have had the McLaren one take it down to the Ferrari one and have them open it. It could have been a whole little because I do like the collaboration on social media between the teams and stuff like that. They do a really good job with all of that.
Yeah, the more they integrate it, the better it is.
The more interaction, the more fun. And I think that's one of the things that's so fun about Formula One that's different from other sports too, is the way the teams interact in that way. So that's not about this wrapping up this race.
Yeah.
So to wrap it up, driver of the day and P1.
Okay, my driver of the day is going to Sir Lewis Hamilton.
No!
Yes. Because honestly, he drove great. I didn't hate it. He did amazing. I was like, hey, Lewis, good job. I'm glad you won. Sorry about it, George, but I'm actually really happy that Mr. Lewis Hamilton got his 205th podium. So I'm okay with it. So that
205th. I thought it was his 201st.
And I think it's 205th.
But I thought they said that last time was his 200th podium.
No, he's at 200 a while ago. 200 happened 2 years ago. It's been a minute since he got. I'll double check this. Hold on. Now you're making me.
I don't mean to. I was just wondering. I thought that was the whole thing of last week when they were Lewis having dinner with every driver that has stood on 200 podiums in F1. And there was the empty dinner table.
Yeah, but 201. Okay, you're right.
Yeah. Oh, look at me knowing about Lewis. Look at me.
I'm sorry. 105 victories. That's where my 5 came from. So sorry.
Okay.
Podium is 201. My bad.
Yeah, because it was the whole thing last week that it was his 200th podium.
That's what it is. Okay. So very happy for Lewis about that. So he gets my driver of the day. My P1. is gonna go. I'm gonna give it to Oscar for having a great race and for really just driving.
Oscar's really doing it.
He really is. He's driving the shit out of that McLaren, and I'm here for it. Like, I just want the good things to happen to him, and I'm here for it. So.
Well, my driver of the day is George Russell, because justice for George Russell. I know you hate him, but God, that is sad. Yeah, like I'm a little heartbroken for him. Not, especially now after I've seen that photo. I hadn't seen the one where he's just solo crying. Also, I think we should not take so many photos of people when they're crying, because that's dark. Like, I don't feel like I should have seen that. Like, I just saw this picture and thought, that wasn't for me to see. That wasn't for us to share. That was for his sadness and his sadness alone.
Yeah.
Or maybe like his family. But like, that didn't need to be public consumption. And I feel gross having seen it. So George Russell, driver of the day, I mean, called the audible, did the damn thing, made the most of it. Came up a little short, but man, oh man, he really did it.
He tried.
He did. And my P1 goes to, you know what? I don't even care. I was going to say McLaren, but screw them. My P1 goes to sweet, sweet Charles Leclerc for getting it back together. I mean, he's never lost it. They've never gone off the grid. He's been a slow and steady wins the race kind of guy, all season. But I was happy to see him back on top in qualifying, like where he belongs on Saturdays. Obviously Max qualified ahead of him and took the grid penalty, but I like him back in a 1-2. I like him vying for the top of even if he's not going to stay very long, I like him up there on my Saturdays. I love watching him on the Q3.
Yeah, he did great. I also have a complaint.
About what? About how slow the Ferrari pit stop was that really ruined his race?
Honestly,
yeah.
Ferrari was on fire at the beginning of the season with these pits. Like, they were giving us fire pit after fire pit. I'm like, these are amazing. What happened?
I don't know. They couldn't even tell when they watched it. They're like, I think it's something on the back right tire, like a lug nut. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, speaking of people in the pits, Oscar Piastri trying to take down that front wingman. I'm like, oh my God.
It's the second or third time he's done that.
I was like, that guy was visibly shaken. And he has the full momentum of that car coming forward to him. Oscar's coming in flying at him. And I'm like, oh God. That was hard to watch.
He said something about it in his post race. Like, I'm going to try and figure out how to do that better. I'm like, yeah, we're going to have to.
That would be ideal.
Yeah, it seems like we need to figure that one out.
Yeah. I was like, oh God, Oscar, that's not good.
Yeah, but I'm happy to see Ferrari has figured out whatever woes that we've been going through in the last few races post Monaco. I feel like we're going into the break in a good place. Yeah. Especially now that, we've figured out where our little baby Carlos is heading.
Oh, thanks.
Sending him out into the world.
Carlos Sainz.
Sainz.
This is great. Thank goodness we have a decision. He's made us all so happy just by letting us know, because then now I feel like the chips can fall where they may.
Yeah, silly season can really start.
Yes.
I would like to read a little bit from this Athletic article about why he's going to Williams, which I think we predicted this. We kind of saw this coming, and I think that it's a real testament to what James Vowles is doing over at Williams. And I think to get the Sainz family because obviously this is a Sainz family decision. We know that Carlos is doing this with dad. Yeah. We got cousin Carlos in the mix. Like, this is a racing family decision. And so I think for James to have really won over the Sainz crew racing dynasty, per se, maybe, is a big win for them.
That's a good point.
Hold on a sec. So let me read. Carlos Sainz wasn't kidding when he said in Belgium that he didn't want to talk about his Formula One future anymore. Well, same, Carlos. None of us did. We were all, frankly, tired of it. Not even 24 hours after the checkered flag at Spa marked the start of F1 summer break, he ended the 6-month rigmarole surrounding his next move by announcing he would join Williams. for 2025. It's rare for an F1 driver to have their pick of seats in the way Sainz did for next year. After he lost his 2025 Ferrari drive to Lewis Hamilton, it gradually became clear that neither Red Bull nor Mercedes seriously considered him as a fix for their driver puzzles, even if he was by far the most qualified candidate, which that's another discussion, but I think we've, hit on that. But this whole thing talks about why Sainz bought into Val's vision for it. And Williams initially seemed like an outlier option for Sainz, given that it wasn't a works team with the backing of a car manufacturer and was very much still in the rebuilding phase. But as the Spaniard and his management explored all options, Val's plans became increasingly attractive. Val's has been vocal about his focus on 2026. So Carlos is in the, for the long haul in this, when F1's technical regulations will be overhauled. To him, that is the year when the foundations being laid right now can translate to strong performance on the track. Moreover, there is no pressure on Val's from the team owner, Doralton Capital, to turn things around instantly. They are all committed to the long game, overtaking shortcuts to appease the here and now. So I'm kind of into this, the resurgence of Williams under this, Val Sainz kind of combo.
I am too. And I love Carlos and I love Alex. I love that I'm going to have them at the same team. Not that I, did this, but in the plant voodoo world of Shannon Kessler, Alex Albon is right next to Carlos Sainz in where they sit, and they've been together for the last couple months. So I think maybe my plants have helped Carlos make a decision.
Well, I believe in your plant voodoo. I support your plant voodoo. Another thing that they mentioned is that right now, so when Vowles joined the team, the head count was around 700 people at Williams.
Okay.
It's now over 1,000. So there's an influx of cash and capital and people, manpower. Yes. The team recently announced 26 new hires, including staff from Ferrari, Mercedes, and Alpine. So, they're making moves about it.
Yeah.
So, I think that he got him to buy into the vision.
Yes.
And I think that that's as exciting about what could happen in the future with them.
I agree. I haven't looked into what the 2026 regulations are, gearing up to, but I am very interested in knowing that's going to how that is going to change the sport, because it does seem like a lot of teams or a lot of drivers are in question of okay, well, in 2026, are we all starting from the same platform? Who's going to have the advantage in 26? Or are they really all starting kind of at the same level in 26? I don't know. Because I think that was a question that I kept hearing circulating around, Max Verstappen, he wants to know what the 26 regulations are, because that make it more interesting for him to go to Mercedes versus staying at Red Bull.
Right.
So it's interesting because I haven't really dug too far into that, but I don't know if they've released that either. So
I saw some article about it, but I haven't really read much into it yet about what some regulations that are not going to change and for 2025. And I don't know. So we need to maybe that's a summer break episode.
Yeah, I like that.
Because I feel that's something we need to kind of figure out of what's happening.
What's happening?
But we're gonna get that's when we saw returns to Audi. That's everything changes in 2026.
Yes, it does. Everything does change.
One thing that's not going to change: Max Verstappen's late night gaming.
Oh,
he said, "Lay off of me. I'm gonna freaking game if I want to game," and he doesn't want to talk about it anymore. And I like this article that basically said no one should ask Max Verstappen to stop late night gaming. Let the F1 champion sim race as much as he wants. It's from Polygon. It's a European site, but I have one thing in common with Formula One champion Max Verstappen. We both stay up way too late playing video games. and he basically was just talks about how we need to let Max game if he wants to game. And Max has basically said, I'm gaming. Don't try and stop me. I can't stop, won't stop on the sim. He once again stayed up too late and hit the Sims, and he told people after, qualifying first that he's like, fuck off. He said, fuck off.
Right.
I'm going to game. Stop asking me about it.
Okay. You're putting your car where it needs to be. You're putting up points. At this point, your job isn't in jeopardy at Red Bull. You kind of control everything over there anyway. You're going to do what you want to do. It's just Max Verstappen.
And also, like, Max is like, I stayed up all night. I got 45 minutes of sleep, and I still will qualify first and come from the back and, get into and qualify and finish ahead of my teammate who started on the front line. Like, so if I want to, I don't know how much sleep he got on Saturday night, but I'm just saying, he's like, if I want to sim until 5 a.m. and then get up, like get a nap in and get up and race, and I can still do this, lay off me.
Yeah, he's fine. He's fine.
He said, I do what I want.
We didn't get
Max Verstappen.
Cranky Max radio, but there's always next time.
I think maybe there was, and we just like weren't even really a party to it because he wasn't like super involved in this race.
Yeah. I did see I think it might have been Christian, I don't know, somebody in the Red Bull PR world that was like, we need to get rid of, letting everybody hear our radio. And I'm like, no, you don't. Don't
no.
Away from the people. We need this.
And did you hear that someone said that they like the F1 talked to the drivers about like cursing too much on their radios or whatever?
Well, we've heard that before because of Yuki. Like,
yeah,
he's popped off plenty of times. But I also think like it's sports. It's like there's a lot
sports.
Like you're just like it's just coming out. I mean, it's just I don't know. I'm not offended. Like if you're that offended, like Max says, turn it off. Like don't listen.
100%. And also like if we mic'd up even when they do mic up NFL players, like they're cursing. Like if you mic'd up any sport, I can't imagine what they probably say in hockey when they're like pounding each other's faces in. Like it's a sport. Like they're
gonna be heated.
In the heat of competition. And again, if you're offended by somebody like cursing every once in a while, then
it's probably not your sport.
Yeah, and also they're not like gratuitous with playing it, I think, on coverage.
Yeah. I mean, they do apologize. I mean, because sometimes there are things that slip through and they're like, I'm sorry if you heard that. Does it reflect the whatever of Sky Sports? And you're like, oops.
Yeah, but you're like, oh, well, they just like went to a hot radio and, didn't have enough time to really, get through that. So I got one more news and note on our favorite selfie king.
Otmar?
Yes. Former Alpine boss. I'm not even going to try and butcher his last name right now because I don't have it in me to try. Involved in new US F1 project. Former Alpine team principal Otmar Snafauer, has revealed that he is involved in a project with American investors to evaluate entering an 11th team in Formula One. So apparently he's decided to go head to head with Mario Andretti, who keeps getting shot down. Let that man get into Formula One. Having huge experience in F1 through his involvement with the Bar, Honda, Force India, and finally Alpine teams, he's evaluating fresh opportunities to return to Grand Prix racing once his period of gardening leave ends. Love that little comment from motorsport.com. In the meantime, he has been working on a new itinerary management app called Event R, which is being used in F1 and other motor racing series. But he did, he said, he's speaking to a podcast, James Allen's F1 podcast. I'm a competitor, and the one thing that I like more than anything is the competition. So to come back in a role where I can't influence how well the team is competing, I don't think I'd be interested. If it was a role where I could help build, attract the right people to improve a team competitiveness, I'd be interested. But there's only 10 teams. A lot of them have people in those roles already. So I don't know how many opportunities there are out there. But there's also the 11th and 12th team possibility. So that might be something that would be interesting for me. I've been working with some organizations in North America that have the funding to start an 11th team. It's not Andretti. Now we're just putting some of those building blocks in place to make sure that we have everything that's required in order to be successful to both start a team, but also get an entry. So that's interesting too. So he basically said, Mario, you're not good at this. I'm coming for you. 11th team.
Like, sit down. Let me try.
So yeah,
paying off.
He kind of just snuck it in there too in this interview. I think it's interesting. He's like, "Oh, I'm kind of like doing some stuff. I got this app, blah blah blah. Also trying to get an 11th team on the grid." Be like, "Huh? Halt? What? Who?
What are you talking about?
Who's the investors? Tell us more."
Yeah, I'm gonna need to know who's on this team.
So yeah, it is, like it says, it's unclear who the American investors Otmar is linked to are, but F1 is undergoing a huge boom of interest in the country. So who knows? But he's out there turning over rocks, he's like, if no one will hire me, we will just start
our own team. Don't worry about it.
And Mario Andretti is just like, Jesus Christ, if this guy gets in before me, I'm gonna be pissed. Poor Mario. Like, the man is out there just trying to do the most to get on the grid, and they're just like, nope. Yeah,
Mario needs to make a Mario Kart F1 circuit in the States and like let that be his like legacy.
Honestly, he should totally just start like a Mario Kart go-kart like experience, like a Top Golf, but of go-karting, and it's called
in Florida for that kind of stuff. Come on, just get in there and make your kart happen. Come on, Mario Kart Kingdom, let's go.
In conjunction with Nintendo and Andretti Racing, Mario Kart. I think we just came up with an amazing business idea, so make it happen.
I feel like we might have nailed that. Like, it's gonna be
Rainbow Road is gonna be the best one, like, obviously, but perilous, but it's so fun. So yeah, those are my major news and notes for the week. Yeah, we've it's all happening, and I'm sure that there's gonna be a lot more news and notes coming out, by the moment as we enter silly season.
As it does, like, this is what I love about silly season, is because we expect to see drivers on yachts, on a beach, Mai Tais, having the best life.
The best.
Curious, loving. We love to see a summer break moment, but we also love the summer tea of what we're about to get into. So F1, don't let us. Please don't let us.
No, I need all your beautiful yachts. I need all your beautiful wags. I need chic. I need fancy. I need the best of the best. I want surfing. I want beaches. I want beautiful cocktails, everything of the sort. But I also want high drama.
Yeah. Do you think we're going to get F1 drivers at the Olympics? Like, watching?
Oh, yeah. I bet if Nadal, which they probably will, if the Nadal Carraz, is that what they're calling them, make it to the finals, I could see a Carlos sighting.
Yeah, or Fernando.
Or Fernando. But I feel like Carlos is kind of boys with them.
He does kind of fit the mold. Like, he looks a lot like them.
And I feel like he's gone to some of their stuff before. I could also, George loves tennis. I could also see Pierre at basketball. He loves
basketball.
Loves basketball.
Tony Parker, good friends.
Yeah, good friends. I could see him at those French basketball games.
I could see them at rugby too. Like,
are they into rugby?
Yeah. Have you not watched 7-minute rugby? This is exciting.
I've watched some of the women's rugby because that one Alona Mar is like all over my Instagram.
Incredible.
She's like a social media star. I also could see, obviously, at football, at the soccer. Mm-hmm.
Yes, loving beach volleyball. I feel like they would all like this is a very summer.
It's a hard ticket to get to, the beach volleyball.
It's a good one. But yeah, that's what I'm hoping. Like, if we're gonna make a little bingo card, I want to see F1 drivers at the Olympics.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think we definitely are gonna get a Pierre Olympic spotting.
Yeah, he's so sporty.
He's so sporty, and like it's in his, it's in his home country. He must. Charles has his Olympic moment.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
And like Snoop is getting a lot of, love, as well deserved, with his glasses.
Yeah.
On like with his Olympic glasses, but like, come on, we all know that Charles did it first. Charles was iconic in the Olympic glasses, so
he is iconic.
He's an icon of sport, of world sport. I'm super into the Olympics right now. Loving all things Olympics.
That's great. I love it.
Also, this is not F1 related at all, but I do also love that they're like patrons of certain teams. And I'm obsessed with Flavor Flav finding out that the women's water polo team was like working extra jobs and like they couldn't afford to just train. And then he was like, nah, girls, I got you.
Yeah.
And he's like sponsored a team. And shout out to Ashley Johnson, the goalkeeper who went to my high school. Ran some Everglades. Just, you know, she's a fellow alum of, so I'm gonna claim her. We were not there at the same time, but you know, you gotta love it. It's her 4th Olympics.
It's amazing. That is amazing.
Mm-hmm. Cool. Yeah. So anyways, Olympics, love it. Maybe we could do like a little Olympics special episode.
We absolutely can. There's a lot of things I want to cover over break. I want to talk about this whole like when you have to start 60 places behind for getting a grid penalty. Like what the fuck's that about? Like, oh, that's so stupid. Like when you get a 60 place penalty, like, can we just stop with these? I'm
like, is he starting from the back for the next like 5 races or something?
He's like in a different country and has to start his race. So I'm like, could we pump the brakes on these like grid penalties? I want to talk about the difference between like money value that you get in the constructors, like why it's going to be so important. That
it's huge. Yeah, let's talk about that.
Ferrari beats out Mercedes, like all of that kind of stuff. These contracts, I think, again, going back to Checo, I think could be very interesting to keep talking about why this makes it so hard for people to move players around in F1. And then we'll do some fun Olympic coverage. I think we should do a little Olympic special episode. Love it.
Because why not? I mean, also I love swimming, but I've been kind of bored with swimming this year. I'm really into like some of the other Olympic sports, and I cannot wait for track to start. I'm a big track girly.
Love track. That's fun. I love. We have big swimmers in this house, so it is fun to watch. But sometimes we joke it's like watching Max Verstappen sometimes win in a Red Bull. You're like it's 20 minutes ahead of time, and you're like, and no one else is on the screen yet. Okay.
Yeah. I'm at a very Olympic adjacent event right now.
You are.
If I can give a little shout out to my daughter, I'm at the Junior Nationals, USA Diving Junior Nationals for my daughter, Ree. She's competing. She's more she's more of a sobber at this event than a Red Bull, but you got to start somewhere.
She's there. She made it. She qualified. She's doing great. She's representing. We're not. I mean, listen, we weren't doing that.
I was not. Was not. And she's got her big event on Thursday. So, 1 meter springboard. We've done 3 meters. So, but some of these kids jumping off the platforms is insane. It's like being at a little mini Olympics. You get to just see some really incredible, future Olympic talent.
That's incredible. I'm here for this. I'm here for all of this,
having a sporty weekend. Speaking of sports, being so sporty, we are now a part of the State of Louisville Podcast and Network. And so you can check out all of their shows as well, especially if you are in the, Kentucky area or a Louisville sports fan. They have a lot of Louisville-centric sports content. And we are very excited to be a part of their network. And we misspoke on our last episode, and we did not, we're just coming at this as it gets thrown at us. It's like a visor just getting peeled off and thrown into the wind. But our episodes are now available for streaming on the State of Louisville YouTube network. So if you subscribe and like there, you can leave us comments. You can ask questions in the videos, and we will answer them on our next episodes if you want. Maybe we can do a little Ask Me Anything video. But you can now watch us every week. They are posted almost instantaneously, not quite, but very close.
Yeah, I think almost have to edit this out a little bit.
Almost as quick as George Russell is disqualified. They are getting up there. So make sure we will add this link to our Instagram where you can follow us at F1 Push Push, and we will link directly to the State of Louisville YouTube page where you can now watch us in addition to listening to us on any major podcast network. So we're very wherever you consume podcasts, we're very excited to be a part of the State of Louisville network.
Yes, thanks for having us. We love our new family. It's so great.
It's going to be a fun ride. So yeah, make sure that you like, comment, and subscribe. We're on YouTube, and leave us a review. It would make us happier than Lewis Hamilton ascending to P1 in Spa. And until next time, push, push.